I'm Andrew Phillips. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to replace a light fixture in your house. In this case here, we're dealing with a chandelier in the dining room, but the same process would apply to any light fixture that is ceiling mounted that you want to replace. So let's go ahead and get started.
Here are the items that you'll need. First of all, either a Phillips or flathead screwdriver to remove the screws from the light crossbar. You'll need that. Next thing that you're going to need is going to be a set of these wire snippers and strippers that you'll need to strip the wires from the new light so that way we can do it. And then a set of pliers also comes in handy as well. And that's it. And then we're ready to get started.
Now the first thing that you want to do before you even get started is you want to make sure that there's no power going to that light fixture, otherwise you'll get shocked. So it's important that you kill the power going to it. There's a couple ways you can do it, and I'm going to show you that right now. Now the way that I always do it is just by shutting off the light switch itself to that light. You can just shut that off here. And by doing so, you've killed the power going to that actual fixture and you should be good to go. Now, if you still don't feel comfortable, you can come to your main breaker box here, find the switch for the receptacle or the room that you're working on, and you can just shut it off here, and that way you kill the power in general going to that, and that way you don't have to worry about it. And once you have that pretty much secure that you know that there's no power coming to it, now we're ready to go ahead and disconnect and remove the old fixture so we can get ready to wire up and reconnect the new one. Now coming up here, this is your canopy, and then this right here is your canopy loop lock nut, and that pretty much just unscrews, and I'll get a close up here, but you also have a little locking ring that we'll have to loosen, and then we can unscrew it, and that way we can pull this down. Now you want to be careful that this doesn't all drop, so you want to secure the chain as well. And as this comes down, you can see our canopy is getting loose as well. And I'm going to hold the chandelier or the light fixture right here as we remove this, so that way it doesn't drop on us. Because once this comes down, then we can bring that down and we can access our wire nuts. And I'll pull these down and then we'll take a look at it. And even though we have shut off the power to it, I still like to just touch them briefly just to make sure there's no current coming through. And now with them down, I'm going to get a close-up up here so you can see what we're going to be disconnecting before we actually drop this itself and bring the chandelier down. Here's our wires here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take these wire nuts, just unscrew them, and that way we can then disconnect the wires, and then from there we can then loosen this nut here and pull down the chandelier itself. And you want to make sure that this thing doesn't kind of get the best of you and fall. So after I do this, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to hold on to these wire nuts because we're going to reuse them. Alright, so we have everything disconnected. All the wires that go with the chandelier. And then here's our building wires. We have the white, the black, and the ground. So we have the live, the neutral, and the ground. And like I said, I'm going to identify those in a minute. But right now what I'm going to do is just unscrew this so we can drop this thing. Alright. Okay, so we're bringing it down. I want to be gentle. In this case here, I'm actually going to be reusing this one, so I don't want it damaged. But we have everything taken off. We'll get a close-up, and then we'll get ready to put the new one in. Alright, so what we have here is the crossbar. Now this is the existing one. In this case, I'm going to leave it. If not, if you buy a new chandelier or light fixture, a lot of times it comes with a new one. But here's the wires right here. Your white is your neutral, black is your live, and then this copper colored one, that is just your ground. So those are the three that you're dealing with. So depending on your light fixture, sometimes they may not be an exact fit, and you'll have to look at kind of a chart that shows you what goes where, as shown here. So now that we have that done, let's go ahead and get the new light fixture. We'll get it wired up and then start assembling it and connecting it here, and we can wrap this up. Okay, so the first thing you want to do before you put the new one in is go ahead and attach your hook nut here, and then you're going to lower your chain. Now it's important that you kind of measure out where you want your chandelier to fall at that point, and then you can remove the links from the chain, get that all set up now, and then we'll go ahead and also cut the wires, strip them to the right length that are going to feed through here, so that way once we're putting it together, all that's done and we're not trying to work on that while the chandelier is hanging there. So I've gone ahead and measured my length. I'm going to go ahead and pop off the links, and then we'll be right back. Now that we have the chain measured, we went ahead and took the link out, so we got it at the height that we want it. We're going to take the electrical cable here for the actual wires, measure it out the same, because you're going to want to twine this through the chain, and you're going to also need to feed it up through that bracket so then it can loop around, and then we'll connect it with the wire nuts here on this end. So let's measure it out. Okay, so that's about where we want it. We're going to go ahead and cut it, and then we're going to go ahead and use some wire strippers and strip those off so that way we can make the connection. The next thing we need to do is take some wire crimpers and snippers here and stripping tool, and we'll go ahead and match up the gauge and just go ahead and clear these off and get them ready so we can connect them with the wire nuts. Do the neutral line, and then we have our live. Now, if your chandelier has this decorative piece that connects here at the base, what you're going to want to do, you'll notice there's a hole through there. You're going to take your wires. We're going to go ahead and put them all together and just feed them right through the hole here. Slide them right through there. And that way we can bring this down here. This will attach, and then we can then screw it in right here. We'll just screw that down tight. And then this is what you're looking at here, all nice and solid, one piece. You got your wires coming through. Now, to use these wire nuts, what you want to do, we have our new wire that came through. I already put the neutral and the live together, but for the ground, you just kind of want to twist them on just gently like that to get them together. And then you'll just take this wire nut, put it on here, and just start screwing it on. It has a little groove in there that'll catch. And there we go. Starting to get it. And there it is, tight. So now what we can do is we can just take it, just tuck it up in here, because we are going to have that plate that's going to go up in there. So we have all that tightened up in there and tucked up. And you want to make sure that you have nice, secure connections and no exposed wires like with these here where they are where they're shielded and insulated. We have them all nice and tight inside that nut. That way they're not going to be touching each other and causing any issues. Next, we're going to tighten this right there all the way. That'll hold this piece in place against this molding. But you can see, and I'll get a close up, that's a threaded piece there, and you just tighten that. And then we have the chain with the electric running through it, and it's going all the way down here to the chandelier. Now that we have all this together, I'm going to go ahead and assemble the chandelier itself. I'm not going to go into those details because depending on what light you're using, it's going to be different. But I'm going to go ahead and put it all together. We'll put the bulbs in it, and we'll go ahead and try it out. And then that should conclude this video. All right. Okay, so everything has been put together. The chandelier is in place. Everything's wired. The crown molding's been put in place. We're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to turn off the lights and turn it on. And let's see how it looks. Here we go. Very nice. Looks very, very good. Everything is working fine. And we can see here, this particular chandelier here has because the crystal has a really nice glow, but depending on whatever you put, obviously it's going to look different, but everything's wired up, works great. So this wraps up this video on how to replace a light fixture in your house. In this case, it was a chandelier. I hope that this video was informative for you. I hope it helped you out with maybe any projects you're working on. If you have any questions, comments, please send them in. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support. Please like the video, subscribe to this channel. I'll see you next time.